This cop here is kind of a dick, but the journalist who did all the videotaping and everything else that he has on his fucking profile, this dude is a total fucking cuck. His name is Alex Fermin, okay? This is what he's complaining about, okay? Before we get into the story, here's the photo. I'm still experiencing PTSD from prior NYPD violence. He was down there causing a fucking ruckus last year during the 2020 riots in New York City, and, currently in a court battle over it, but he has PTSD, but he's still getting in the face of officers, but that's cool, which was triggered, so now I'm just shaking to try and calm my racing heart. Can't even go to work anymore. Fucker, you don't work. Look at you. Look at you. Nobody would fucking pay you any attention unless you weren't out here. You have literally like a fucking dozen posts on this one interaction you had in fucking Astoria over the weekend. I will guarantee most of your fucking followers showed up this past weekend. You're a shitty human being. And maybe this cop sucks too, but the way he articulated it, it sure seems like he might be a shitty human being. But I'm gonna err on the side that he's not too terribly well spoken, mostly because of his phrasing. Like, he speaks perfectly good English, duh, obviously, but the way that he phrased this, that's what people are picking up on. So we're gonna take a look at this. An NYPD officer taunted a strap hanger who photographed him without a mask on a public. Oh, without a mask on in public, my mistake. Complaining that America's problem was that it's so free, a new video shows. Interesting. Like I said, interesting phrasing. Maybe this cop is a tyrant, okay? But clearly, he's not being a mask Nazi either, so I do appreciate that. Then again, this guy's kind of a fucking dork. The journalist. Anyways, the latest spat between a cop and a member of the public over COVID-19 guidance unfolded around 11:30 a.m. Saturday inside 46th Street Station in Astoria, Queens. Alex Fermin told the Post Monday, and he was certainly happy to share his experience that was so troubling. That it all began when he snapped a photo of the two maskless cops on their phone when he was hopping a Manhattan-bound subway. Okay, so he incited this entire situation by snapping the photo, okay? Was he being accosted by the cops to begin with? Or did he see two cops just off to the side and then he immediately got triggered by that? Like, see, I hate this dude a lot, but this officer could have been a little bit more articulate. The officer yelled at me and then followed me halfway across the platform before getting in my face, Fermin told the Post. I'm sure that's exactly how it happened. Fermin's video show Officer Karim Powell, who isn't wearing a mask. Oh my god. Leering at the cell phone camera and asking, so what are you gonna do about it? Like, he does seem like a bit of an asshole, but you know what? Whenever you see one of these masked Karens out there, don't you want to do the exact same thing? What are you gonna do about it? Like, I'll just share the story. This happened even before all the mask mandates started. So this was, oh my gosh, just about a year ago. I was going in, I was at the grocery store. Needed to go into one of the walk-in coolers that's there. And whatever, the fucking store had an arbitrary, oh, there's only 6 people allowed in this fucking massive cooler. But okay, whatever. And there was this little dork who cut in front of me in order to get into the cooler. I didn't really care because whatever, I can still walk in there and get my stuff and then just leave anyways. But he had to go in there and get something, and he left his girlfriend or his wife or his fucking mother outside. Who knows? I don't really care that much. Outside the cooler, at least. And then, yeah, so he was going to be the 6th person to enter the walk-in cooler. And then I just followed in right behind, mostly because I'm just here to get some salad and maybe some cauliflower and then just leave anyways and just walk out. He's like, there's going to be 6 people, but he is about 5 and change, and you guys know I'm 6.5 feet tall, and I ain't gonna take any of his shit. And I just lean over. It's like, what the fuck does it even matter anyways? And he just immediately looks straight forward, and then just proceeds to grab whatever it was, fucking beans or some shit, and then pieces out. Because some little fucking goof want to get into a scrap over these arbitrary rules, which he can't even back up to begin with. That's what you get. That's how you approach these people. They think that they have some kind of a moral obligation to adhere to these arbitrary rules that are getting set up, and then immediately you start pushing back. And again, maybe I could be in a different situation because I don't know what it's like to be yay tall and then try to fight back. I haven't been that high since, oh my god, like fucking middle school, maybe. But again, I'm not signing up for any more of this crap. And perhaps that's what the cop is doing here, flexing with his badge, but his wording is a little off. But yeah, back to what Vermin had to say here. What am I gonna do about you not wearing a mask on the subway? I took a picture. That was what it was. Well, he wasn't in the What? No, that's not even right. They weren't on the subway. They were in the station. What the fuck is wrong with you? God, you're stupid. Powell, who was flanked by his partner, also improperly wearing a face covering. Whatever. I don't care. Not buying into the madness. Fires back. Go tell the city. Tell the mayor. All right. Yeah, exactly. Tell somebody who cares. Make sure you tell them the machine number is 15735. Powell adds, referring to his badge number. Yeah. I feel like we're missing something here. As Fermin reminds the officer he's supposed to wear, ugh, why don't you go fuck yourself? I got that cell phone fucking deposited straight in your esophagus. You can't tell me to wear my mask, the cop says multiple times as he begins to walk away. Powell turns back and says to Fermin, you know what the problem is with you guys? It's because America is too free. Oh, is so free. That's the problem, the Queen's cop adds, before pulling up his blue disposable mask and walking away. It's interesting phrasing. I'm just trying to bounce it around in my head to try to figure out what exactly he's trying to say. Like, is he trying to lean into the authoritarianism? Because that's the easy way to interpret that. But again, I just think that this is poorly worded. Mostly because, yeah, it's like, I'm just not going to put up my mask because it's fucking dumb. These are just rules made by people who aren't scientists. They're just, it's fucking Bill De Blasio just trying to flex his non-existent muscles. But it really does, and I don't think that he was going this way, but I'll just fucking take it that way. It's because Alex here, Alex Fermin, whatever. His life is so good. He's so secure in his day-to-day life. He has nothing better to do than just pester people for not wearing their mask. And that he can be a snarky little cunt and have no repercussions for that actions. But again, the cops are just trying to do their job, and then you get mass Karen'd like that. Yeah, I get it. I get where they're going. I get where they're probably coming from. I would just kind of chalk this up as a win for the cops because they came off looking a little bit more manly than this thing. Perhaps if he wants to take some of his photography expertise down to Louisiana, could be a benefit there, because you take a look at what's happening right now, and nearly 16 years to the fucking day, can you believe it? Hurricane Katrina made landfall, and thankfully the aftermath from Ida doesn't look nearly as bad. It's still pretty horrific. It's just now that it's made landfall, it's dropped from a category 4 when it was approaching, and now it's down at a category 1, which is still significant. And right now there's only 2 confirmed casualties, which is great news. It does suck for those 2 people. One guy drowned in his car, and another one we'll get to in a minute. It'll probably be going up as the devastation just kind of subsides, and then they have to start getting into buildings and they have to start recovering people. It could be going up, but you already know what by there I mean the media, what their spin is going to be on this one. Oh, my cases could be going up. Yeah, if you can fucking believe it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property damage, millions, billions of dollars potentially worth of damage, but Makoof cases, right? Harrowing photos captured as sun rose in Louisiana showed the true extent of destruction from Hurricane Ida, as more than 1 million people are still without power, and officials warned it could be weeks before the grid is fully restored. Christ, that sucks. Images showed a trail of damage Monday in New Orleans in a Category 4 storm, which slammed into the region Sunday, packed with winds of up to 150 miles per hour, making it one of the most powerful in U.S. history. Oof. In the city's French quarter, a roof of a building next to Jack's Brewery was obstructed traffic after it was blown off by the storm's powerful winds, one photo showed. Some brave residents ventured outside and gawked at the damage, including one man who was captured with a flashlight to survey the post-apocalyptic scene. Pretty fucking devastating. Like, that ain't no shit. Storm also destroyed the city's Karnofsky music shop on South Rampart Street. I'm sure that would probably mean more to New Orleans residents. That means absolutely nothing to me, but still significant. Oh man, that poor little Yaris, you're never going to be getting that back. Still flooding. No flood is insignificant, but that doesn't look too bad, okay? Take that in the context of, yeah, this place just got overrun by a hurricane, but it looks like the systems that were in place post-Katrina are mostly working. Which is great. Photos showed the hurricane left a store where Louis Armstrong once played jazz music. He played jazz music at a lot of places, and briefly worked. A pile of bricks, shattered windows, and other debris. Meanwhile, in Houma, Louisiana, scaffolding was ripped off a hotel and fell onto a vehicle. In Kenner, Louisiana, showed streets completely submerged in flooded water and downed electrical lines. Yeah, that's where it gets tough, okay? Except if you're that goofy bitch right there, you see power lines that are in the water and you're walking without shoes. I don't know if that's necessarily the correct response to this, but she's probably been through a couple of these by now, so she already knows the drill. Neighboring states were also impacted by the monster storm. In Biloxi, Mississippi, a motorist became stranded on the streets, inundated with rising floodwaters. How are you stuck in the middle of a street and rising floodwaters? You're retarded. Before recruiting another person to help them push their car, leave the car. Grab the cannolis, leave the car. Federal Emergency Management, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell said they were still assessing the damage of the storm, and the full impact wouldn't be known until later in the day. Probably tomorrow at this point. Yeah, you can see the streets, at least there, like, okay, still, obviously, no fucking joke, but all things considered, it's looking pretty fucking good, okay? Could have been a hell of a lot worse. First casualty reported as Ida leaves deadly trail across Louisiana. Like I said, so far 2 people it's been reported, but it's impossible to really know what is going to be at the end of this. At least 1 person has died as a result of Hurricane Ida as the storm continued to move inland early Monday morning, and the local authorities requested a presidential major disaster declaration be made. I think he's already made that declaration, but we'll get into Joe's response here in a minute. UPI reported the first death attributed to Ida was announced by the Sheriff's Office from Ascension Parish, located just south of Baton Rouge, one of the hardest hit regions by the storm. Ooh, tree on the house. I got a tree on my house. If you get that, you're great. The Sheriff's Office said on its Facebook page, local deputies received reports of a citizen possibly being injured by a fallen tree near a residence. Don't seek shelter under a tree in a fucking hurricane. And arrived to find the occupant deceased. That sucks. Louisiana Department of Health confirmed the death, describing the victim as a 60-year-old man. Tragically, our first death. Yeah, oof, that really does suck. Hurricane Ida is one of the strongest storms to have ever hit Louisiana. It is our goal to assist our local agencies and citizens of the state as quickly as possible, and we begin pre-positioned search and rescue teams, boats, and other assets that begin helping people as soon as it is safe, he said, according to the UPI. He revealed rescue crews would not be able to immediately help those who were stranded and the storm raged, and warned his state to brace for potentially weeks of recovery. Yeah, it's better to set lofty expectations like, hey, this is going to take a long time, and then if you overperform and this is cleaned up within a couple of weeks, within a couple of days, you get those power grids back online, you'll look like a hero. Like, this is an actual optics thing, and I really do hope for the best for the people of Louisiana. Please don't take anything that we talked about as anything less of my sincerest condolences for anybody who was affected by this. This really fucking sucks. Something up here in northern Alberta you don't have to deal with other than just severe cold, and then for whatever reason severe heat in the summertime. It makes no sense to have like 100-degree Celsius swings, but it happens because Grand Prairie's weird. But yeah, when it comes to ferociously bad weather, we're pretty lucky when it comes to this stuff. Like, we had a 2.0 earthquake when I was like 8 years old or something like that, and a little fucking dirt devil knocked the KFC bucket off of its stand. Oh, the humanity. Haven't even had like a proper thunderstorm. Like, we had a pretty bitchin' rainstorm here, but no thunderstorms this year. Knock wood, I guess. But what does Biden have to say about all this stuff? Hey, he talks to the Louisiana governor and tried to place a Popeyes order. It's just very unhelpful. President Joe Biden on Monday spoke with Louisiana governor after Ida, a major hurricane, pummeled the state. Thanks, Tips. I know you're busy as a devil. I know that you got a lot to manage on your states, but the fact is that I want to hear from you. We both want to hear from you, Biden told a group that included Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards and Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves. What the fuck? God, he's so stupid. Referring to himself, Deanne Criswell, FEMA Administrator, and Senior Advisor Cedric Richmond. That had caused massive damage after hitting in New Orleans over the weekend. Yeah, no shit. Biden told the governors from Washington during a virtual meeting. Couldn't be bothered to actually go there, but he talked with them and sent them a Zoom link. Doing your fucking due diligence, huh? I had to prep for that statement somebody else was going to write, and you'd have to sign your name at the bottom when it came to the Afghanistan withdrawal. Federal efforts have included moving more than 200 generators into the region and distributing pre-positioned resources like water. No, they have plenty of that. We've seen it in the streets. The Biden administration has also been in touch with utility providers, is planning to deploy drones. Oh no, please take shelter in your basements. We hope nothing but, oh, not those types of drones. Soon to assess the damage. Huh? Looks like most of the water has subsided. You can go in and just take a look, but whatever. Just call up those Texas cats. They were pretty good when they had that big ice storm there, and things got online pretty quickly. And has been working with cellular providers to trigger a cooperative framework that allows people to hop onto various lines, even those not from their carrier. Well, that's good. That's what you should be doing in a moment of emergency. You should be looking at every resource that's out there and trying to make stuff happen, and not shifting blame. So I'd imagine there's probably those dolts out there, but it'll take a couple of days once the death toll and everything else gets figured out, and it'll be, oh, my climate change all of a sudden. But if we get out ahead of that, you already know what to expect. Imagine AOC, who has been incredibly quiet over Afghanistan recently. She's going to start peaking up, especially with Ida, and I think there's another one that's slated to come through. Normally these come in like doubles or triples anyway, so there could be another tropical storm heading up the east coast here in a minute. It'll be Bernie Sanders back out there. 2021 was the hottest year on record. Ugh, go back to your fucking green room and comb your hair with a balloon. If there's something you needs my attention, Cedric, your direct line in the White House throughout this recovery. Oh no, he's stuck in a loop. And I mean that whatever you need, go to Cedric, you'll get to me. We'll get you what you need if we can. Okay, if you need anything, get a hold of me. We'll see if we can get a hold of Cedric. He can get a hold. This motherfucker's lost. No wonder it was on Zoom. If we work together, folks get knocked down, and we're there to help you get back on your feet, he added later. And if everybody's still out there swimming in the middle of the streets, you guys can come up to me, come up to old Uncle Joe. You can play with my leg hair. It turns gold in the sun, and there's a storm coming, and I'll beat it back with a length of chain somebody will cut for me. And Ida was a bad hurricane. He's so fucking stupid. But yeah, just back to some of the devastation that's been happening right now. Like, yeah, FEMA's been activated. A ferocious storm also caused power outages at 39 medical facilities, which were operating on generators. FEMA said more than 2,200 evacuees were staying in 41 shelters across Louisiana Monday morning, according to the governor's office. A number is expected to rise as more residents are rescued from flood-ravaged homes. Yeah, it really does suck. The Louisiana National Guard said it activated 4,900 personnel and had 195 high water vehicles, 73 rescue boats, and 34 helicopters ready to provide assistance. They would have had more, but they're still in like Kabul and Kandahar, but not going to be getting those back. Ida tied for the 5th strongest hurricane ever to hit the mainland when it made landfall around offshore oil town of Port Fortune. Sweet memes come out of there. Around 11:55 a.m. local time Sunday. Ida was downgraded Monday to a tropical storm. Yeah, it's category 1 right now. Everything should be fine. Normally, once a storm like this makes landfall, it doesn't get stronger again. There are, I'm sure, some outlier cases, but that's not normally how this shit goes down. But heavy downpours could still bring life-threatening flooding, a hopeful National Hurricane Center proclaims. In addition, Louisiana is bracing for a COVID-19 surge amid the chaos. This is a COVID nightmare as more people are forced to stay home and get trapped in small enclosed spaces, right? Just the cognitive dissonance of these motherfuckers. We do anticipate we can see a COVID spike related to this. Go fuck yourself. Like this dude right here, he's making the most of this shit. He's getting out there in fucking pristine conditions, taking a run down the middle of the street. I like that dude. He's pretty based. But honestly, the pictures that we're seeing out of there, the devastation does suck. It doesn't look nearly as bad as Katrina, which some people were prognosticating is the case because of how strong the hurricane was. But again, if anybody's been affected by this, my sincerest condolences. Hopefully things get straightened out quickly. Somebody much smarter than FEMA and Biden are on the case. Hopefully. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.